What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be covering a full game. I'm adding this playlist to the bottom. So for those of you guys that like watching full matches, then that's probably the folder that you're going to want to go into. These games are also a lot easier to do because I'm just breaking down stuff I've already done. I'm doing a common opener right here, trying to take control of this right side here because then you can hear them coming up. It gives you a really good defensive position. And it's one of those that you can exploit at the beginning of the game. The only thing you have to watch out for is people flanking you on the right. So once you spend a little bit of time slaying here, if you don't find too many guys, that means they already went off to the right, and then you have to make sure that they don't end up ambushing you from behind. Now, how far they go depends. Some people will end up going through the ship here, but most won't. Most will go all the way up to the hill, which means that you have a little bit more time. It seems like a lot's already happened, but really we're only 45 seconds into a match. And the decisions that go into when you're going to start flanking or when you're going to change positions is really based on what you see. And like I said, it's based on how many guys you kill, how many guys you see, what you hear, the position that you're in, how many of your own teammates are dying. Those are the kind of things that influence which way fights are going to go. And this is one of those times where I made the decision to activate my amped weapons even though I knew there were guys close by. And I've been in that situation where I pop it and I die right after. But I've also been on the other side where if I would have popped it, I probably would have lived. So there's a fine line, but it's one of those quick decisions you need to be able to make. I've also gotten out of the habit of, I was always using my pistol in close distance, obviously, especially since I fall back on it a lot because I use the double take a lot these days. And I was trying to shoot guys and then I tried to melee them, but the delay between shooting and trying to get your melee off usually gets you killed, so I've also stopped that. You have to either commit to one or the other. When you start trying to shoot and then go into a melee, usually goes badly. It's a lot better to go from a melee to shooting your gun, because if you're going to go melee first, it means they're right in your face and it makes sense. Shooting and then going into a melee means things went horribly wrong and somewhere along the way they cut the distance on you. And of course, this isn't like a hard rule. I just mean, for me, this is a pattern I've noticed. It doesn't always apply. Like, obviously, sometimes you're going to go from shooting to melee and vice versa. All I'm saying is that there's certain combos that don't work as well as others or are more risky. The timings to them. And some people don't realize that there is combos in first-person shooters. I know it's more obvious in games like Street Fighter and Smash and things like that where you can juggle guys, but in a sense, combos like grenading people and then one-shotting them, or using your stim to jump over somebody, using your smoke to blind people and then jumping over that, comboing walls, like all these things are combos. It's a series of moves that you put together that work well together. That's why certain builds work better if you put certain ordinances with certain tacticals. And I'm actually trying to commentate a little bit more while I'm playing. As you can see, I'm streaming right now. I just started on the weekend. Kind of got the page set up. Gonna need to make some admins and put in some bots or something. See, I'm really not super familiar with all that stuff, but it was actually pretty fun this weekend. Anyways, going through a ship is always not my first choice. I'd prefer to go out this way just because I find that that is a big choke point. I don't end up seeing who shoots me. And sometimes this is the smartest thing you can just do. Just stop moving. If you have a headset, you're practically like Echo the Dolphin. Like, you can have this whole surrounding. No. Most of you guys won't even know what Echo is. If you own a Game Gear, you know about this game. More like Daredevil. Within like 10, 15 meters of you, like that's your domain. Okay, look at the spawn point right now on the top left. What I've noticed in Pilot versus Pilot is that if your team floods the spawn, sometimes it doesn't automatically flip. It'll actually just leave the outline circled on the map. And no one will spawn there, and you'll start assuming that it's moved, and you'll be right, unless for some reason some of you guys move out, they will start spawning there again. It only like shoots a few guys back there, and then it'll keep people spawning in the back. And that's kind of what happened here. We went back there and then no more guys spawned, but one or two did. Usually on this fork in the road, I take the left. It's usually the safer route. It just means that when you come out this way, there's two ways you can get shot here, and there's only one way when you come out of the tunnel, so it's a little bit safer. And sometimes being aggressive is just the best move to do. Sometimes when there's like 3 or 4 guys in front of you, and you just shoot one guy as you go through. If you have the speed and you can bunny hop through them, usually you can bypass the whole group. Like, this game's crazy when you get into high speeds. Alright, let me start commentating again. I was just watching because the grappling hook is just so much fun in this game. I was talking about Bionic Commando on the stream, and it's a game that feels a lot like this. If you guys haven't checked that game out, like seriously, check it out. It was a super fun game, and then it just died. It actually reminds me a lot of Titanfall in that same way. Something about this game, I thought Bionic Commando was amazing for its time, and for some reason it never caught on. Guys can still spawn up on that stairwell, so you have to watch out when you're going through the spawn like this. So this is one of those spawns right now that if we were to probably leave a little bit, a guy would have spawned in there again. But now it's completely gone. But sometimes there is a guy that sneaks in there just before the change, and they end up there. Like, this map isn't impossible to ski on, but yeah, it's hard. Some walls that you'd expect like there to be a little bit easier, like I don't know if this is just one of those versions of a really hardcore map where if you're not on point, because it's true that you can navigate this these walls if you hit them correctly. It's not random. Like, once you know a rock doesn't work, like it doesn't work forever. So when people say this map is shit, it's like, it's shit because it's hard as hell. It's one of those asshole maps, like the guy put like jagged rocks. It's like somebody was playing that Mario editor game, and then they jumped on here and they're like, hey, can you make a level? And he was on a roll screwing people over in that game, and then he just brought it over to Titanfall. He's like, I'm done. He's like, have fun, guys. It's like, hey, have you played this? It's like, no, why? I just ran it with a bot. That was a tangent. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of this game. This is going in the full game file. If you guys just enjoy watching full matches, well, again, that's where you'll find these. Paper, Cut2U. I'm not going to say GameInReview because we changed the channel name just to make it simple. That's it right there. Paper, Cut2U. That's me. Have a good one, guys.